looks like, I mean, there's so many interesting things about this election. First of all, this is the first time in U.S. history that a convicted person will become president of the United States of America. It's never happened before. It is also interesting that during Trump's presidency, he was actually, impeached twice. And in spite of his being impeached twice, he's coming back as president of the United States of America. There are some very interesting points of note. I mean, all the polls have suggested that this was going to be a very, very close race. In fact, some polls gave it 50-50, 50% to Kamala Harris and 50% to Trump. What is happening suggests that it isn't that close, you understand? Now, what's also interesting is that in America, you can actually win the elections without winning the popular vote. It does appear that Trump is winning the popular vote and is also winning, the electoral votes and so on. So clearly, what is happening is it's clearly unprecedented in American history. And the question has been asked, how come that Trump is doing so very well? There are a number of reasons, okay? And in looking at those reasons, you need to see how the campaign was structured. I mean, over the last couple of days, all the celebrities, most of them, the big musicians and so on, were all put on the road, You have talk show hosts like Oprah Winfrey and so on. All of them were on the road campaigning for Kamala Harris. All the former presidents, and most of the former presidents, Democratic presidents and their wives were on the road. I mean, last Sunday I listened to a speech by Barack Obama in which he ran down Donald Trump completely. Michelle Obama was on the race. Some Republican senators, who had fallen out with Donald Trump were also put on platforms, to run him down and so on. It didn't work. None of it worked. It is important when you listen to U.S. analysts and so on that the economy was a key factor, the economy. And many Americans make the point that the rate of inflation was a very key factor in their decision, to vote Donald Trump. The increasing prices of goods and services is largely responsible for this victory. Now, when I look at the U.S. election, I really look at it from the point of view of what happens to the world. What are its consequences for the world and its consequences for people like us in Ghana. This morning I listened to some of the clips that you played. And our public officials, government officials, are quick to blame COVID-19 for all the problems that we are getting, including the increase in petroleum prices and so on. Now, when I listened to Barack Obama, he made the point that COVID actually was a savior for the U.S. economy. He makes the point that petroleum prices had to fall because people were not moving and therefore people were not buying petroleum products and so on, that compelled prices to fall. Well, the opposite is what our leaders tell us in Ghana. I mean, they blame COVID-19 and Ukraine war for everything. The U.S. doesn't, okay? So the economy was a key factor. There were other things which were important. Immigration was a key factor in this election, to the extent that a lot of Americans, especially African Americans, thought that too much money was being spent on the Ukrainian war, and also that the conditions of Ukrainian refugees were much better than their own conditions. Their tax money was being spent on giving a lot of comfort to Ukrainian refugees when they were getting nothing. Now, it's important also to recognize that for the first time, Palestine became an issue in this election. And many Americans started actually calling Joe Biden Genocide Joe. because of their disapproval of U.S. policy in the Middle East and so on. Now, Kamala Harris did not distance herself from Joe Biden's policies in the Middle East, and that cost her, especially in the so-called swing states, that really cost her significantly. So foreign policy was one of the things, that cost them. Now, it's important also that Americans are getting very, very wary of these endless wars around the world, especially in Ukraine and in the Middle East. And they were looking for a president who pulled them out of this mess. Of course, Trump did not offer any concrete measures to end the war. But he made the point that if he assumed office, he would end the war in Ukraine within a day. How he's going to do that, we don't know. But that was the position that he took. He also strangely appeared to be getting a lot of votes, from Palestinians, from Arabs, and so on. And that's quite strange, given what he did when he was president. He has even recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel and so on, and came up with what he called the Abrahamic Accord and so on. But in this election, he also promised to end the war in Gaza. He didn't tell us how he was going to do it, but he simply said that he was going to end the war in Gaza, and managed to get some significant Muslim votes, managed to get some significant Palestinian votes and Arab votes. So if you put all of these things together, Trump is back in the White House. He's certainly going back to the White House. As to how that would affect the American people, how that would affect, the world in general, how that would affect climate change, which he has described as a scam and so on, nobody knows. But he's certainly going to the White House and also sending out a very strong indication that the combined voices of Bill Clinton, of Barack Obama, of Michelle Obama, of all kinds of people really, doesn't make any impact when it comes to U.S. elections, at least for now. So that's what is happening. I have no doubt at all that Trump will become the next president of the U.S. It's very clear. He's winning the popular vote and he's winning, So you have Trump again.
Right.
I listened to his speech this morning and I'm sitting back and wondering, what is he saying? He didn't say anything substantial, but he has won. So that's it.
All right. Ernest.
Thank you, Doc.
Yes.
Greetings to
45 is back as 47.
Greetings to my brother, Kwesi, and all the viewers all over the world, wherever you are. Trump got some people jubilating this morning. Somebody called me early in the morning. And I was like, since when did American elections determine the Ghanaian election? But Trump went into this election a fighter. He knew that a lot of things were not working for him. The government had tried to do a lot of things against him. Like Kwesi said, he's more or less a convicted felony. He's going to be, in a week or so, they were going to pronounce judgment on some of his issues. And the guy is back in the White House. He fought a good fight against all the odds. And some of the states that we had Trump winning from were unusual. You would not naturally get a lot of the Latinos and the blacks fully going for the Democrats. Unfortunately, a lot of them went for Trump. So it should tell you that the guy sent certain messages that people were ready to work with. And it's worked for him. If you bring that one to Ghana and you think that just by virtue of the fact that somebody had won in America, there's a comeback in America, another person is coming back. The conditions, the kind of things that we will look at that we will want to base our votes on. Somebody will go and queue in the sun and want to vote for a candidate. May not necessarily be the reasons why President Trump or any other person will win in another country. You see, I see Trump to be a very strong character, very, very strong character. And with that kind of person, no matter what you throw at him, he is still standing. He didn't care what anybody will say about him. If you throw something at him, he throws it back at you. In Ghana, somebody would have said, oh, you are arrogant and all that, and for that matter, I will not queue and vote for you. Americans, for one way or the other, may appreciate some strong characters. We saw these ones in George Bush and some other former presidents of America. So I'm seeing Trump to be that kind of character who people want to work with. They think that coming back will do America some good. He gave them some nice promises too. He said he was going to end the war, like he said, in 24 hours. So the election hasn't been called yet. I don't know whether it's been called by now that we are in the studio, but it hasn't been called fully yet. They said he was left with, I think, four electoral college votes for him to be called president. So immediately he is called president, the clock begins to tick for his 24-hour promise of ending the war. And we will see how he will...
He's not president yet.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. He has 4 more states, 4 more electoral college.
Yeah. Yes, you become president in January.
So, but the moment you know you've won, Kwesi, and you are sitting in the house knowing that I am a president, more quote and unquote, in the fridge that I will be outdoored soon, you begin to take steps. I don't want to believe that he goes to sleep and he will be waiting for him to be outdoored, to be sworn in before he gets up to say he's president.